Hello, I'm Carrie Hruska. I'm a medical physicist at the Mayo Clinic, and today I'm pleased to discuss molecular breast imaging for breast cancer. Molecular breast imaging, or MBI, is a nuclear medicine test that uses a specialized gamma camera that's been optimized for breast positioning. The MBI cameras look much like a mammography machine, but instead of delivering X-rays to the breast, they use a pair of gamma cameras to collect gamma rays that are being emitted from the patient. Those gamma rays come from the radio tracer technetium-99m sestamibi that preferentially accumulates in breast lesions. To begin an MBI exam, the patient receives a small amount of technetium-99m sestamibi through an intravenous injection. The patient is then seated at the MBI system, and each breast is positioned between the two gamma cameras. The breast is lightly compressed, just enough to limit motion. An MBI exam usually includes craniocaudal and mediolateral oblique views of each breast, and each view takes about 10 minutes to acquire. Patients are made comfortable using supportive pillows, and we provide a TV to watch during the exam. Some patients even choose to take a little rest. The radio tracer Tech-99m sestamibi was originally developed for cardiac testing, and during these exams in women, it was noticed that breast cancers could also be detected. This is because sestamibi accumulates in the cellular mitochondria and in tissues with increased blood flow, which occur with cancer. It has a long history of safe use, being approved for diagnostic breast imaging in 1997. There are no contraindications for sestamibi except pregnancy, and it has a very low risk of contrast reactions, much less than that for iodine or gadolinium contrast agents that are used for other imaging tests. The recent SNMMI Appropriate Use Criteria Work Group evaluated 15 different clinical scenarios for MBI that are listed here. Today, I'll be discussing two appropriate uses of MBI, which are supplemental screening after mammography in women with dense breasts at average or intermediate risk of breast cancer, and supplemental screening after mammography in women with dense breasts who are at high risk of breast cancer. Breast density refers to the normal fibroglandular tissue of the breast that appears white on a mammogram. Shown here are the American College of Radiology BI-RADS density categories A, B, C, and D. These categories are based on a radiologist's assessment of how much of that normal dense fibroglandular tissue would mask a cancer from being detected. If a mammogram is classified as being C or D, that breast would be considered dense. Denser breasts make cancer harder to detect, and dense breasts are more likely to develop breast cancer. However, cancer detection on MBI is not impacted by breast density. This is an example of a 45-year-old patient who had no breast symptoms and was presenting for her routine screening mammogram. The mammogram shown on the left was interpreted as negative, but on her MBI screening on the same day, you can see a bright spot of sestamibi uptake. This was found to be an invasive lobular carcinoma that was not seen on the screening mammogram as it was hidden among all of that surrounding dense tissue. The SNMMI AUC working group reviewed evidence for MBI screening conducted in women at average or intermediate risk of breast cancer. The bulk of this evidence came from two prospective single-center clinical trials that were conducted at the Mayo Clinic. The two trials were nearly identical in design, except in the first trial, we used the original approved sestamibi dose of 20 millicuries, and in the second trial, we used a reduced dose of 8 millicuries, and this was possible after some technology improvements to the MBI gamma camera. These trials enrolled asymptomatic women who were presenting for breast screening and had dense breasts on their last mammogram. All participants had both a 2D mammogram and an MBI. The exams were read independently. There was also some additional evidence that was provided from a retrospective review that was done in a community-based practice. In this practice, women who had a recent negative mammogram showing dense breasts and did not meet the high-risk criteria to warrant MRI screening were then offered a supplemental MBI. There is limited data on the MBI performance in women at high risk of breast cancer. One prospective study included 94 women who were considered to be at high risk and who had a normal mammogram and then were offered MBI, but breast density was not reported in this study. There was also a retrospective analysis of women at intermediate to high risk who were offered MBI after a normal mammogram, and approximately 2/3 of this cohort had dense breasts. It should be noted that women at high risk for breast cancer, such as those that have over a 20% lifetime risk or a genetic mutation or a personal history of breast cancer, would be recommended to have a breast MRI screening as it offers the highest sensitivity of all modalities. However, there are many reasons why patients may not have access to an MRI or may not be able to tolerate a breast MRI exam, so MBI may be an alternative in those cases. A summary of the screening MBI evidence is shown here. Despite differences in study design, studies showed that adding MBI after a 2D mammogram in women with dense breasts at average risk found incremental cancer detection rates of 7 to 9 cancers per 1,000 women screened. These are incremental cancers that were detected only on MBI and not on mammography. So altogether, adding supplemental MBI to 2D mammo more than tripled the cancer detection rate compared to 2D mammo alone. Among high-risk women, the incremental cancer detection rate was even greater. We also see that cancers detected only by MBI, those incremental cancers, had a median size of around 1 centimeters, but could be as small as just a few millimeters or as large as several centimeters, suggesting that in dense breast tissue, MBI can reveal cancers that have likely grown over years and gone undetected by mammography. It is noted that MBI can result in additional recalls, although in this average risk group, this was a modest rate of about 6 to 8% additional recalls. Of course, the recall rate is expected to be higher in the higher risk cohorts. That data was useful to inform the SNMMI AUC work group. However, there are important evidence gaps for MBI that remained, including a lack of multicenter data and a limited number of prospective trials. All the trials that I've discussed thus far had evaluated MBI performance relative to 2D mammography, and today 3D digital breast tomosynthesis, or DBT, is now becoming the standard of care mammogram. And importantly, all of the studies discussed thus far had only evaluated MBI performance from a first-time screening. So to understand the performance of MBI over time, it's important to include more than one screening round in these analyses. The Density Matters trial, which stands for MBI and tomosynthesis to eliminate the reservoir of cancers, was conducted to address these evidence gaps. This was just published in the fall of 2025. This was a prospective multicenter trial that included a mix of academic and regional practices in the US. It included women who were aged 40 to 75 years who had dense breasts, and they were presenting for screening digital breast tomosynthesis. They were not recruited by risk, but in general were an intermediate risk or average risk group. Only 13% of the cohort was considered to be high risk. Participants were enrolled and had 2 annual screening rounds of both DBT and MBI. Those screening exams were read independently, and we followed participants for a year after each of their screens. The primary objective of this trial was to compare the rate of detection of invasive cancers from DBT alone versus DBT with supplemental MBI. So here are the key results for cancer detection rates. Nearly 3,000 women were accrued to the trial, with 2,978 screened in the first year and 2,590 completing screening in the second year. The cancer detection rates for DBT in years 1 and 2 were 5 per 1,000 women screened and 5.8 per 1,000 women screened. And the incremental number of cancers were significant from MBI. So these are, again, cancers not detected on DBT. So the total cancer detection rate when adding DBT and supplemental MBI together was 11.8 cancers per 1,000 women screened in year 1, which is more than double that of DBT alone. Again, MBI added recalls, but it was 9% in year 1, and this dropped to 5% in year 2. But remember, the objective of the Density Matters trial was to compare invasive cancer detection rates. So here's the data for invasive cancers. Again, we found that adding MBI to DBT significantly increased detection of invasive cancers by more than double in the first and the screening rounds, from 3.3 to 7.7 in year 1, and from 1.5 to 3.9 in year 2. So let's take a look at these incremental cancers. In the Density Matters trial, there were a total of 59 women who had breast cancer that was found on either the DBT or the MBI, but almost half of those cancers, or 29 of them, were incremental cancers that were only found on the additional screening MBI. 72% of those were invasive cancers. They had a median size of just under a centimeter at 0.9 centimeters, but ranged up to 9 centimeters. 90% of these cancers were node negative, but 20% of those incremental cancers were considered advanced, meaning they were either greater than 2 centimeters in size, they were node positive, or they were greater than 1 centimeter and HER2 positive, which is an aggressive breast cancer subtype. These characteristics altogether suggest that those cancers found on MBI are clinically important. They have features that are associated with more aggressive cancers, and these are cancers that would have gone undetected if only the standard of care DBT screening was performed. So here's just a few case examples. This is a 62-year-old woman who was presenting for breast cancer screening. Her DBT is shown on the left. This is just the synthesized 2D view out of the 3D exam. And this was interpreted as negative. But on the right, you can see her MBI. There's a little hot spot of cystinoid uptake. And this ended up being a 0.9 centimeter grade 2 invasive ductal carcinoma that was triple negative, a concerning subtype of breast cancer. And here's a second example, a 57-year-old woman who was presenting for screening. Her DBT was interpreted as negative, but you can see a large 2.6 centimeter lesion on the MBI. This was a grade 2 invasive ductal carcinoma that was HER2 positive. And looking back at the mammogram, you can see it was just hiding in that band of dense tissue. And in this example, this is a 48-year-old woman who was presenting for breast screening. Her DBT was interpreted as negative, but you can see this kind of line of activity, this uptake in her right breast, and that ended up being a high-grade ductal carcinoma in situ that was 2.5 centimeters in extent. So one other thing that's important with evaluating modalities for screening is to look at how many cancers are missed. And we were able to tell that by following up women for a year after their screening. So these are called interval cancers that come to attention between screens. These cancers included one case of high-grade DCIS that was undetected on DBT or MBI, and then also a case of a grade 1 invasive lobular carcinoma. We also had 2 very large cancers that were thought to be off of the field of view of DBT and MBI and were kind of very far back in the chest wall or in the axilla. And I'm showing you one example in this patient. You can see her DBT and MBI are both negative. And 6 months later, she reported a lump in her underarm. And then she had an MRI screening, and you can clearly see a large mass there that was an invasive cancer. In summary, breast cancer is more difficult to find in dense breasts, whether it's on 2D mammography or DBT, so supplemental screening of dense breasts is encouraged. MBI is a safe, effective supplemental screening option for women with dense breasts that more than doubles the detection of invasive cancers relative to DBT alone. We saw that MBI has limitations, including the inability to image the chest wall and axilla, and the generation of some additional recalls. But in total, the SNMMI AUC work group concluded that MBI is appropriate for screening after mammography in women with dense breasts, for both those at average risk and high risk for breast cancer. Thank you for watching this video, and I encourage you to watch additional videos on how nuclear medicine is being used to diagnose and treat breast cancer and other diseases on the SNMMI YouTube channel.